Chapter 2 framework addresses why the ideas of atomic and molecular structure are so important to chemistry. So we've developed the idea of energy at the microscopic level and the macroscopic level, and how energy is transformed in nature from one category to another. But the next most important thing is to establish a foundation for understanding atomic and molecular structure in order to link molecular level processes with the macroscopic global scale processes. Now, Ernest Rutherford was the discoverer of the nucleus of the atom. And prior to Rutherford's work, it was believed that electrons and the positive charge in atoms were uniformly distributed through the volume of an atom. But his experiments demonstrated that a nucleus 100,000 times smaller than the atom itself contained the vast fraction of the total mass of the atom. On the other hand, this diagram shows a number of people sitting around a campfire being warmed by the chemical reaction of the lignin or cellulose of the wood that's combining with oxygen to produce energy, but that energy is transformed to the people through electromagnetic radiation, primarily through infrared radiation, but also by conduction through the atmosphere. So we have here the stark contrast between atomic structure and an understanding of the chemical reactions that result when we combine two different chemicals to produce energy from that chemical reaction. So let's look at this example a little more carefully. Let's take a look at the structure of lignin or cellulose, which constitutes the backbone of wood in all trees. And we can see immediately that this molecular structure involves bonds between carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and so on. And somehow the structure of this molecule in combination with oxygen produces water, carbon dioxide, and chemical energy. And when we look at this from a molecular point of view, we can understand the source of this chemical energy. And we'll see in just a moment how we actually calculate this energy release. But we also recognize that nature is transforming this chemical energy into infrared radiation, electromagnetic radiation, and that's impinging on the humans sitting around the campfire. So again, we take a physical system and we model it as a chemical reaction and energy transfer through infrared radiation, and finally the interaction with the human body. Now, in this case, the individuals around the fire are receiving energy from the chemical release in the burning of wood, but interestingly, they're also producing energy internally. So let's take a look at that. We can describe this as we have in a model form where we have glucose reacting with oxygen to produce water, CO2, and chemical energy. And the remarkable thing is that almost all organisms use the same molecular structures to produce that energy. But the energy comes out as heat to warm our bodies, but it also comes out as energy for muscular contraction, for physical activity, and through the entire nervous system of the human body, for example. It's the basis of energy used for thinking. So how does nature take a single molecular structure and convert it to energy of all these different types? This is a remarkable mystery. So cells have the capacity to extract energy from molecules. And at first blush, you would think many, many different molecules are actually used for the generation of heat and the use of muscular control and nerve function. But remarkably, in almost all organisms, this transfer of energy along chains of coupled reactions is accomplished by a molecule, adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. The molecular structure of ATP is crucial to understanding how it provides the energy for living organisms. And the way that it does that is that it takes two phosphate-phosphate bonds in the middle of one arm of this structure, and it converts, in the presence of water vapor, the molecule to a single phosphate-phosphate bond, releasing energy. And the way in which the intake of food drives this reaction backwards to provide more ATP to be converted to ADP to drive the energy needs of the organism is a remarkable aspect that we'll look at in a later chapter in electrochemistry. But notice how important it is to understand the structure of the molecule. It's intrinsic to this remarkable accomplishment.